Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone. Whenever I'm ready. All right, begin. Hi everybody, welcome back to Top Words. My name is Alicia, and today we're going to be talking about 10 horror movie words. These are words you can use to describe horror movies and the things that happen inside them. Ooh. That was not a horror sound. It should be more like, ah! Scary. Scary. Scary is maybe the most basic adjective you can use to describe a feeling of fear. Something is scary. That movie is scary. That dog is scary. My aunt is scary. I'm not really sorry. Sorry, aunties. I have a million. Something that is scary, like haunted houses are scary. That was a pretty scary movie. Creepy. Creepy. Okay, so creepy is different from scary because creepy is more like a very, very subtle, or like kind of just a feeling, a slight feeling. Usually we say like a place is creepy, or maybe we can say a person is creepy. We can talk about a creepy movie as well, but creepy, the nuance of creepy is it's just a slight feeling. There's no really like you don't feel like screaming or shouting or crying, or it's not an extreme feeling, but creepy is like it's a feeling of uneasiness. You feel unsettled. Something's not right. So like if you see maybe a suspicious person at a station, you could say, oh, that person looks a little creepy, or that person is creepy. Or maybe, ooh, this house is creepy. Something is a little wrong. Something feels a little bit out of place or different. In another sentence, that old house is so creepy. Eerie. Eerie. Eerie is very similar to creepy. Eerie sounds a bit more formal than creepy. Eerie is for something that's like, for example, a strange coincidence, like a very mysterious coincidence. We can use that. For example, how did she know that my mother was dead? That's eerie. Or like for, like in a movie where there's a psychic, someone who can read the future or read other people's histories or something. That's eerie. So some like coincidental information that's very mysterious. We can say that's eerie. We can also use kind of a mysterious place for eerie. So like a forest could be very eerie. Maybe it's not scary, but for example, the image I'm thinking of is like a dark forest, but maybe there's lots of mist. Like if you saw the movie like Lord of the Rings, like the scenes where like they go to visit the elves in that movie, there's like forest and mist and people kind of move through the forest very slowly. It's a very eerie feeling. So maybe it's a little bit scary, but it's also kind of mysterious. That's eerie. The old forest has an eerie feeling. Grotesque. All right, the next word is grotesque. Grotesque is a word that means like lots of blood, lots of like bodily violence, like maybe people like being chopped or animals being chopped. It's very like human body or animal body. So like this very like strong visuals of terrible things happening. That's grotesque. So you might see this in like video games too. If you shoot someone in a video game or you shoot a creature in a video game and it's very realistic, then we could say that it's grotesque. Something that's grotesque is very, very extreme and often violent and just very, ugh, it's kind of, I don't know. That's how I would describe it. But yeah, the image is like kind of bodies, blood, guts, extreme imagery. So in a sentence, I hate grotesque films. Gory. The next word is gory. So gory is just like grotesque, really. But grotesque sounds a little more formal. Gory is a little bit more casual, I think. It's grotesque So there's lots of like kind of extreme images, but gory sometimes is more like you might see in a comic book, for example. If you saw the movie like Kill Bill, for example, a lot of those scenes, you could say they're really grotesque, but I feel they're more gory. Like there's a lot of blood in those movies, but it's somewhat like a comic book. It's not quite as, sometimes, not quite as realistic as maybe another movie. But maybe lots of, fake blood and like, again, lots of violence and maybe people dying is kind of gory. That's how I would explain gory. Generally, though, we can use grotesque and gory in mostly the same way. But to me, gory feels a little bit more like a comic book. I think that's a good example of the type of violence you would see or describe as gory. In a sentence, slasher movies are really gory. A slasher movie is like slash, so like a bad guy, a murderer, will kill people. We call those slasher movies. The image is slashing someone. Bonus word, slasher movies. Horrifying. The next word is horrifying. Horrifying. So you can see the root there is horror, or horror. We modify that to horrifying. It makes me horrified. That movie is horrifying. So to describe your feeling, you say, I am horrified. That movie was horrifying. So please keep in mind that ed-ing difference here. Horrifying, it makes you feel horror. You feel like, shock and fear at the same time. You feel uneasy too. So horror is kind of an extreme word, I feel like. I don't use the word horrifying unless something is, quite a high level. You can use this for movies, yes, but you can also use this, for example, with negative news stories. So if you see something on the news that's really negative or really, really shocking and sad, you can say, did you see the news? It was horrifying what happened. That's a really good word to use for movies and for the news. In a sentence, the scene at the end of the movie was horrifying. Terrifying. The next word is terrifying. So terrifying is different, slightly different from horrifying. Again, we have I feel terrified. That movie was terrifying. But the root here is terror. The terror comes from terror. So different from horror, which is more like kind of shock. Horror has more of a nuance of shock and unease. Terror has that it makes you feel that excited feeling plus fear. So maybe something that makes you want to run away, for example, or something that's like shocking and it's really like exciting in a negative way. That's terrifying, a terrifying feeling. So for example, maybe if you've been in a car accident, maybe it was a terrifying experience. Or if you had any other like kind of fast-paced, dangerous situation, we can say that's terrifying. So in a sentence, horror movies these days are absolutely terrifying, super scary. So they make you feel excited and scared at the same time. Hair-raising. Hair-raising, hair-raising. So the image here is that any hair on your body, like on your arm or your leg or the back of your neck too, it's something is so scary, like that the hairs on your body like raise up. So we usually use this for like a sound or let's see, what else? Or maybe a feeling as well. So a lot of times maybe it's the sound of string instruments in the soundtracks of horror movies that make us feel like, oh gosh, that was a hair-raising sound. Those kind of sounds and those feelings make it make situations, make feelings where we feel like we could explain that with hair-raising. So in a sentence, we would say, we heard a hair-raising noise in the woods. So you might, another bonus word, you might get goosebumps. We call it goosebumps. Usually it happens when you're cold, but when you feel nervous or scared too, your skin might get these teeny little bumps on them, and we call those goosebumps. And so oftentimes goosebumps and like hair-raising sounds. We use those two words, goosebumps and hair-raising, to express similar feelings. So if you hear a hair-raising noise, you could say, oh, that sound was so scary. It gave me goosebumps. Goosebumps is a countable noun. Blood curdling. The next word is blood curdling. Blood curdling. So blood being that stuff inside your body, inside your veins and arteries. Curdle. So curdle, if any of you are interested in food, curdle is related to like milk and dairy products. So curdle means liquid coming together in a solid. So it takes time usually, or it's an effect that happens to milk and to dairy products. But here it's blood curdling. So the idea is that something has such a strong effect on you that your blood curdles. It's so terrifying that it curdles your blood. This is a word that's often used to describe sounds, like a blood-curdling voice or a blood-curdling scream is how it's often used. So, in a sentence, the monster's scream was blood-curdling. Unnerving. 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 Similar to creepy. Unnerving is like something that feels a little wrong. It's just not quite right. So again, you can use this for a movie. A movie can be unnerving. Unnerving can be used to talk about any kind of strange or sort of incorrect feeling situation. In a sentence, that was a really unnerving movie. Unnerve makes you lose your nerve. Your nerve is your confidence. Your nerve is your ability, like your belief in yourself. So something which is unnerving means it takes away or it removes that feeling. So something which is strange that happens in your, like where you are, something you're seeing or experiencing, it makes you feel like, oh, I've lost my nerve. I've lost my confidence. It's not right. Something's not right here. Or maybe I can't do this after all. So you could say a situation is unnerving as well. That's the end. So those are 10 words that you can use to talk about horror movies. If there's a different word that you use, or if you have any questions about these words, please feel free to leave us a comment below. If you liked this video, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and please subscribe to our channel too if you haven't already. If you want to check out more stuff like we've talked about here today, please check us out at EnglishClass101.com. Thanks very much for watching and we will see you again next time. Bye bye.